Yeah.
What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to part 2 of episode number 134 of Siriani Sports. I'm Matt Siriani, that's Ryan Barrett Jr., and today we have a very, very special guest along with us. You can follow him on Talking Sports with Jake. You can follow him on Twitter at CardyJ3152. You can follow him at JakeCardinal6 on Twitter. He's from the state of New York. He's a diehard New York Jets fan and Mets
My
fan.
guy.
Ryan's guy, my good pal from the Colorcast app, Jake Cardinelli. Jake, how you doing, Jake?
Very good. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course, brother.
No problem, no problem. Listen, it's an honor to have you on, a special Colorcast friend and a helpful thing to Ryan, Jet fan outruled me this time.
Outnumbered,
But
Matty.
we're not here to talk about football right now. That'll probably be for the next time Jake decides to come on the show. We're here to talk about baseball because we got the MLB postseason underway right now, and we have a bracket challenge going on. So here's how this is going to work for the people who don't know the rules. Let me explain. It's going to be like the NFL bracket challenge. There will be a point system. So here's how this is going to work. You will get points for every series you get correct. You will get bonus points for every series you get correct game-wise. So say, for example, I say Tampa Bay Rays are going to beat the Texas Rangers in 3 games. I will get 1 point for saying that series is correct, but I will get a bonus point for saying the Rays win it in 3 games. That's an example. Now let's say the Baltimore Orioles beat the Texas Rangers in 4 games, and I say they're going to sweep them in 3. I'll only get 1 point because I didn't get the number of games correct. And then when we get to the World Series, this is a 7-point round. You get 4 points for getting that series correct, 1 bonus point for getting that series correct in the number of games it takes, and 2 bonus points for getting the World Series MVP right. So if you do the math, 8 points in the first round, 12 points in the second round, 8 points in the third round, and then 7 points in the World Series, do the math, 35 total points. The person who gets the most points wins. That's how this is going to work. So Loro, as you can tell, is not here. He had work issues and a conflict with work, but I'm going to read his picks for him to get this started.
Let me guess it. For the Super Bowl, the World Series, you got to count football.
All right, so bottom line is, Jake, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ryan, are you ready?
Always.
All right, let's do this, Brutus. Let's get this underway. So I'm going to read off the picks that Loro gave me. All right, so starting off with the wild card round for the American League. Loro said he has the Rays over the Rangers in 3 games. That looks like a possibility right now because if you follow the Major League Baseball playoffs today, you would know that the Texas Rangers beat the Tampa Bay Rays, who had 4 errors today, 4-0. So that's still a possibility. He also had the Blue Jays over the Twins in 2 games. That's not going to happen because the Twins won the first game, 3-1. Minnesota snapped their 19-year-long postseason game-winning drought. So good for Minnesota. So if the Blue Jays come back and win the series 2-1, he'll get a point for that, but he won't get the bonus point for not having the Blue Jays winning in 2 games. Then for the NL wild card, he has the following. The Phillies over the Marlins in 3 games, and he has the Brewers over the Diamondbacks in 2 games. And if we go to Yahoo Sports right now, because our good friend Lily Schumacher gave us an update about what's going on in Milwaukee, and right now it's not looking good, folks. Actually, the Brewers have bases loaded. They're down 4-3 against the Diamondbacks, but the Diamondbacks have the lead 4-3. And then he also has the Phillies over the Marlins in 3 games, and if you go to the scores right now, the Phillies are up 3-0 over the Marlins at the bottom of the 4th inning. So those 2 are still possibilities. So in the event that Loro's predictions come true, he has the Orioles taking on the Rays, and he has the Blue Jays taking on the Astros on the American League side. And on the National League side, he has the Braves taking on the Phillies and the Dodgers taking on the Brewers. So for the ALDS, he has the Baltimore Orioles winning to the Tampa Bay Rays in 5 games. And then he has the Blue Jays beating the Astros in 5 games. Please happen. And then in the NLDS, he has the Braves over the Phillies in 5. If you remember last year's postseason, Philly has beaten the Braves before in the postseason. So I'm not going to, so he's thinking revenge for Atlanta. And then he has the Dodgers over the Brewers in 4 games. So that's his NLDS. ALDS, his ALCS is the Blue Jays over the Orioles in 7 games. That's bold. I'll give him credit for that.
I like that. I respect that. I respect it. They're a sneaky team, Toronto.
No, Blue Jays are a good team. I mean, Ryan and I are hyped about Blue Jays.
Minnesota.
Okay, so that's his ALCS. His NLCS, he has the Dodgers beating the Braves in 7 games, which is, that NLCS, if it's Braves Dodgers, that could go either way. So that's ultimately a coin flip. But I don't blame him for picking the Dodgers. I mean, it's a competitive pick. So he has the Blue Jays and the Dodgers in the World Series, and he has the Dodgers winning it all in 7 games.
I wonder why. Lauro, the Dodgers fan.
Laurel's a diehard Dodgers fan.
Okay.
Diehard. And
that's right. I follow Lauro on Twitter. I should have seen that coming.
Also, you know a little bit about Lauro. Okay.
I do. I used to tune into your guys' show on Covercast.
Oh yeah, that's right. Talk Sports throw him out when he used to be on Covercast. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So he has Dodgers over the Blue Jays in 7 games, and he has Mookie Betts as World Series MVP. So that's how this is gonna go. But because me, Jake, and Ryan are all on the show, we're gonna have to give our explanations why we pick each team to win each series. So that's how it's gonna go. I'm gonna give Jake the floor here because he's new to this.
Do we want to go each round, or you want to go straight through?
We're gonna go each round.
Okay.
That's how we're gonna go. So each round. So here's how this is gonna work, Jake. I'm gonna go to you series by series, and you're gonna give me who's gonna win, how many games, and why.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna start off with the AL wild card. We have the Rays over the Rangers. Who do you have in that series?
I think both teams are flawed. I don't see either team going too far, but I'm going to take Texas. Tampa's pitching is beat up. They lost a couple of guys. I forgot exactly who, but they lost a couple of guys throughout the year. And Glasnow, who pitched today, got the loss. He's, battled injuries throughout the year, as he always does. Their bullpen depth just isn't what it once was, and Texas can score if anybody. Their starting pitching concerns me a little bit. They don't have Max Scherzer. I'm not the guy that told you so, but I told you so. But they won game 1. I just think Tampa, their style, it gets them 95, 100 wins, but it will never win the World Series. So I got Texas winning that series.
In 2 games?
I'll say 3. I'll say Tampa takes game 2. I'll say it goes 3 games.
Okay, so you have Texas in 3. Okay. Now for the next AL wildcard game, we have the Twins and the Blue Jays. Where do you go in that series?
I'm actually going to take the Twins in 3. At first, I was all on Toronto. I've actually said multiple times on my show that we talked about. Thank you guys for plugging that at the top.
Okay.
By the way, I think Toronto could be a sneaky contender because of how good the rotation is.
Yep.
But to me, Toronto seems like they're missing something. Every year, the last few years, I'm like, this team is so good. And every year, they're just like, they get in, but barely, and then it doesn't really work in the playoffs. And I think with Minnesota, no one is expect them to do anything because of how bad that division was. Like, all right, cool. It's almost like a pity prize. So they're basically going in and saying, guys, we got nothing to lose. We haven't won a playoff game. I was 2 years old when they won a playoff game, and now I'm a senior in college. So I think they're going to shock the world. I think they're going to shock the world, and I think they win in 3. And if that happens, something needs to change in Toronto.
Okay. And now for the NL wildcard. So Twins in 3. Next you have the NL wildcard. We have Diamondbacks and Brewers. Where do you go?
This is going to be a fun series. I'm going to say Milwaukee in 3.
Okay.
Both teams are good defensively. They're both very fast. Arizona's got the edge. Offensively, Milwaukee's got the edge when it comes to the pitching. Although they did just lose Brandon Woodruff, they still have a deep staff, so I think they'll be able to, survive. Although the World Series chances are probably gone with that. I do think Milwaukee wins. They got a little more experience, and also Craig Counsell is a phenomenal manager.
All right, so you got Brewers in 3 here.
Yep.
And then last but certainly not least, we have the Phillies and the Marlins, 2 NL East rivals. Where do you go from here?
I got the Phillies in 2. I don't think it's all that close. Miami doesn't have a lot of offense. They can pitch, but they just don't have. Aren't going to be able to score enough. And I can see the Phillies being in the World Series again, to be honest. So I'm going to take the Phillies in 2.
Okay, Phillies in 2. All right, so that means we're going back to the AL side of the bracket now. You have the Twins winning, which means they play Houston, and you have the Rangers winning in 3, meaning that they play the Baltimore Orioles. So we have Orioles and Rangers. What happens in that series?
I got Baltimore in 6 games. Yeah, they did just lose their closer, but they do have a really good bullpen, so I think they'll be able to survive at least for a round. And like I said, Texas pitching is really worrisome. So
Right.
and Baltimore, they can definitely they definitely match up with Texas offensively and both pitching staffs. I would say Texas rotation might be a smidge better, but Orioles got a much better bullpen, which is a big factor in the playoffs. So I'll say Orioles in 6 games.
6 games or 4 because.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, the divisions here. So I'll say 4 games. I'll say 4.
4 games. Okay. So Orioles in 4, they move on to the ALCS.
Yeah.
Now, who joins them in the ALCS? Is it Twins or Astros?
It's gonna be the Astros. It's gonna be the Astros. I have the Astros in 5 games. I just think they're just gonna overmatch the Twins. Too much experience. They're better than them in every way, shape, and form. The Astros in 5.
Okay, Astros in 5. Interesting. Now for the NLCS, NLDS, excuse me. You have the Milwaukee Brewers playing the 2 seed, which is going to be the LA Dodgers, and you have the Phillies in 2 games playing the 1 seed, which is the Atlanta Braves. So we're gonna go Braves, Phillies. Where do you go here?
Ooh. I want to say the Phillies really badly, but I'm gonna take the Braves. I'm gonna take the Braves in 7 games though. The Phillies, I think they're better than they were last year, and they were in the World Series. Of course, they beat the Braves, kind of shockingly, to go to the World Series last year.
Yeah.
But the Braves are just so good. I don't love their pitching, but I don't know if there's anyone that can beat them. They're offensively, they're historically good. Especially if Max Fried's healthy, the rotation's pretty good. The bullpen's kind of okay, but I think they slip past the Phillies in 7 games.
Okay, so
in 5 games.
So Braves in 5 games. And who is their competition going to be in the NLCS? Is it Dodgers or Brewers?
I'll say the Dodgers in 4. I think Woodruff. If Woodruff was healthy, I may have actually said the Brewers, but with him out, that's a little hole in the rotation. It's enough to probably get him past Arizona, but I don't think to get him past the Dodgers. I mean, they have 2, maybe the 5 best players in the league this year, in Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, and they're joined by some other good players as well. So I'll take the Dodgers. I'll say the Dodgers win 4 games.
The Braves got the other 3.
All right, so we got the all-anticipated Dodgers-Braves NLCS, and on the American League side, we have the Astros and the Orioles, the top 2 versus the top 2 in both leagues. Let's start with the American League. Orioles and Astros. You've said on the What's Up podcast with Randy Couray, you said, and I quote you need to see someone beat the Astros before you believe it. Yep. Can Baltimore do it?
No. I have the Houston Astros in 6 games. I would love to say. I wish I could say otherwise. Until someone does it, I don't believe it. It's not. I don't see it happening, to be honest. Orioles had a hell of a year, so kudos to them. Their hitting's really good, but I think they're going to get beat up in that series, and they'll put up a fight. But I got Houston in 6 games.
Houston in 6 games. All right, and now for the highly anticipated NLCS potential matchup, Dodgers Braves.
I got the Braves in 7.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we get that series because that'll be a lot of fun.
Yep.
But I think the Braves, again, it's weird. I see some flaws in the Braves that other people may not. But, I know, maybe because they see them beat the Mets 10-2 every time. Also, the Mets suck. But they're just historically good offensively. They're going to be tough to beat. I got the Braves in 7.
Wow, okay. Games. All right, so we got a Braves-Astros rematch from 2021. Now, in that World Series, here's the difference between 2021 and 2023, if that were to happen. Ronald Acuna Jr. tore his ACL before the 21 World Series and did not play in that World Series. 2 years later, he has the first 40-70 season in Major League Baseball history. Now he might play, barring injury or anything drastic or traumatic. Who wins that World Series?
I have the Houston Astros winning in 7 games. Again,
Ugh.
I don't see anybody beating them. Their lineup is loaded. They got really good starting pitching. Their bullpen's very good. Dusty Baker's taken like 8 teams to the playoffs. They won it last year, and I think to go back to back, as much as I hate to say it, the Braves pitching is kind of okay.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It doesn't. I don't think it matches up. Once they get into that bullpen, they're going to be in trouble. So I got the Astros winning in 6 games.
So one of the things I will say about this is I like that prediction a lot because if there's one thing the Astros have proven is that postseason experience really matters, and we've talked about this before. We didn't want the Astros to get in the playoffs in the final week of the regular season because they would be deadly to every team that they face.
Yeah.
They would be absolutely deadly. So they got in, they lucked out. Although I will say this, that series against Kansas City at home should have been their downfall. But they got lucky, and they survived. All right, so now we're going to go to Ryan Behringer Jr.
Wait, Maddie, do you smell something?
What do I smell?
It smells like a salty meth fan over there.
I do not like the Braves, but they are very good. But I think Houston beats them
The
again.
salty meth fan. He wants the AL. I respect it.
Again, there is one thing that needs to happen for me to believe Houston will not win the whole thing. Somebody
They're gonna lose.
needs to beat them. Until
They'll lose.
they do,
They'll
all right,
lose.
here, Ryan, I'll hold you to it.
They'll
But
lose.
until somebody beats them, I will not believe the Astros dynasty will end. Again, look, I don't like the Astros. I want to select an Astros fan. I do not like the Astros.
Mhm.
The 2017 stunt was pathetic, and the way he was handled by Major League Baseball was embarrassing.
Oh,
But the
of course.
team is so good. Until
Okay.
someone beats them, I don't believe it.
Are they?
Okay. All right, Ryan, you ready?
All right, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, so first we got the American League Wild Card Series. We got the Rays and Rangers. Where do you go and how many games?
Raise in 3.
Any reason why?
Just kind of like what Jake said. The race style, just it doesn't win you championships, but it beats worse teams than you. And I think the Rangers are worse than the Rays. I think the Rays lost today, kind of like what Jake said. They beat themselves today. The Rays, obviously, not what you want to see when you have your quote unquote best pitcher in Glasnow pitching today. But I do think they'll bounce back because I don't think Texas is as good as people think they are. Right? Like they got a good performance out of Jordan Montgomery today, but their staff's not that good. And I think the Rays are just too good to lose to a team, I guess.
And you have them in 3 games.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have the Twins and Blue Jays. Your Blue Jays.
Yes, my Blue Jays.
Where do you go from here?
Jays in 3. I can't count out like my boy Vladdy Jr. I can't count out Bo Bichette, Matt Chapman. Like their offense is absurd, right? And I think their pitching towards the end of the year finally got to where it's respectable. I think Jordan Romano as a closer is really good. I just think the Twins, kind of like what Jake is saying, like they're kind of like a fake 3 seed. Like it's like you're only here because you play in like the worst division in baseball. So like you kind of have to get in. But I mean, I don't think they're that good. Sure, they won a game at home. Oh, big whoop! But like they're not. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna lose in Toronto, and then they're gonna lose again in Minnesota.
Okay. All right. So you have the Rays playing the Orioles, and you have the Blue Jays playing the Astros. But we're gonna go to the National League side first before we get into the NLDS. Phillies and Marlins. Who do you got and why?
Give me that one first. Okay, I'm gonna take the Phils because I just think they're playing better baseball right now. I think again like the Blue Jays, they're really good offensively. I mean, they were in the World Series last year. Bryce Harper, JT, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, right? I mean, the fact that Kyle Schwarber is the only guy in MLB history to hit under 200 with 100 RBI, like this team's gonna score runs, and I don't think the Marlins are a team that's gonna stop them from doing that, or at least score with them. Kind of Jake's point. So I just think the Phillies are just gonna offense them.
Okay.
I got the Phillies in 2.
Phillies in 2, and then Brewers D-backs.
So this might be a questionable pick. I got the Diamondbacks in 2 because because who do you think hasn't pitched for the Diamondbacks yet? Who didn't pitch today?
Zach Gallen, that's true.
Zach Allen and Merrill Kelly.
I think Zach Gallen's gonna pitch tomorrow, and I think they're gonna win.
Well, let's see if the Diamondbacks can hold in there today.
They got Yes, they have to hold today. But I think if they win today and they get Zach Allen tomorrow, I think there's a real shot that they're going to beat the Milwaukee Brewers because, like, I don't think they're not that good, right? Like, they're like Jake said, they're well managed, right? But like managing in baseball is not like managing in football, right? Like they don't make like that big of a difference, right? And now they pitch Corbin Burns today, so they lose today with their quote unquote ace, and the Diamondbacks are throwing their ace tomorrow, and they win game one. I don't know, dude. It's going. I don't know. I'm feeling the backs. I'm feeling the Diamondbacks. Feeling them.
Okay, so you're feeling the Diamondbacks.
I
Okay,
am.
so so that means in the NLDS you got the Braves taking on the Phillies and you got the Dodgers taking on the Diamondbacks, both division
Yeah.
rivalry matchups. So
Yes.
we're gonna go to the ALDS first. You have the Orioles and the Rays, two teams that have met each other 13 times. Orioles lead the series 8-5 this year. Who wins that series? Best of 5.
Oh, it's so tough, right? Because you would think, right? You would think the Rays, right, with all their experience and everything that they have, right? But you know what, dude? I'm a believer in the young guns, dude. I'm taking the Orioles. I'm taking them in 5. I am a believer in their young guns. Dude, they got Rutschman, they got Santander, they got Henderson. Like they got their guys, dude. And I think if there's a time for the Orioles, I think it's this year. Obviously, the Felix Bautista loss is killer. But remember, Maddie, what was the one thing that they had? They had like the best 8th, 9th inning guy in baseball. Yadier Cano is real good. Real good. I know he's not closing games for them, but I think they're gonna be able to hold it. Dude, their bullpen's been one of the best in baseball the whole year. And like I just think they got a little bit more like pizzazz than the Rays. I think their home run hitting ability is a little bit better. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Adley Rutschman. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right, how many games do you have Baltimore in?
I got him in 5.
You got him in 5, so it goes the distance.
Yep.
All right, next ALDS game. Blue Jays over and Astros. Who do you take?
Oh, brother, I am taking the Blue Jays. This is going, and I'll tell you, this is going to be an offensive showdown. I'm excited because you got Jordan Alvarez, you got Vlad Jr., you got Bo Bichette, you got Kyle Tucker. Like, you got some offensive superstars on each of these teams. And I'm not going to lie to you. I know, Jake, I'm kind of shocked you said that. You didn't say it, but Justin Verlander, man, not Justin Verlander of old, right? Like, the Blue Jays,
Not
yeah,
quite
like,
the same, though.
yeah, I know they're a 6 seed, right? But like I think Kevin Gausman has got it together. Chris Bass just had a crazy start to finish the year, right? I think Jose Barrios as a 3rd in the playoffs, he's a good 3. I just like, and it's weird saying, right, that I trust like the Blue Jays staff more than like the Astros staff, because in the past, right, when you were going with Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, right, like I just think that they're like their pitching staff, like they're young, right, like. Obviously, like we saw, I'm forgetting his name now.
Jimmy Pena.
No, their pitcher. Not their rookie, the other guy. Valdez.
Houston?
Yeah, Valdez. No,
Yeah.
we saw Valdez pitch last year, but their other rookie, we didn't see him pitch in the playoffs last year, like at least a lot at all. Christian Javier. So I don't trust Christian Javier that much. I don't think Justin Verlander has been that good this year. In the playoffs, he's usually good, but like he hasn't been good in the playoffs. He wasn't good in the playoffs last year either. I don't know, dude. I'm feeling the Blue Jays. I think it's their time, dude. Because like we've always said, like the Blue Jays are always so close, right? And I think like over the years, right, adding Chris Bassett, adding Matt Chapman, right, they have just gotten better and better and better throughout the years. And I think they just got to put it together. And I think if the Jays are going to end up beating, like, I think they're going to be hot, dude. I think if they beat the Twins in 2 games, they're going to be storming into Houston. They're going to be hot.
Okay, and you have them in 5 games, correct?
Yes, I'll take them in 5.
All right, Blue Jays in 5. Now for the NLDS, Braves and Phillies. We're all anticipating this.
Yes.
Where do you go from here?
I'm taking a Braves in 4.
Braves in
Because-
4, so not quite a sweep, but close.
Yes, because to Jake's point, I do believe in the Braves staff. I mean, Spencer Strider doesn't strike out 200 plus people, like, and it's considered a bad year, right? Like Spencer Strider is probably a top 5 pitcher in baseball. I think that Max Fried he's a question mark, right? He's not like if he's there too. Like I don't know. I don't like I think Aaron Nola's good for like the Phillies, but like I don't trust them. And again, like we just saw the Braves have one of the best offensive seasons in the history of baseball, right? Like they had how many guys? 14 like hit over 10 home runs. Like that just doesn't happen, right?
Crazy.
So like Yeah, do home runs go down in the playoffs? Sure, but like they got guys like Ronald Acuna who hit 330, Matt Olson hit 280, right? Like I think Ozzy Albies is a little bit overrated, right? But he's still like they got a team that doesn't just rely on home runs. They do everything well. They steal bases, they hit for average, like they do little. They're very much of a mix of like the Rays and like the Yankees of old, where they hit like millions of home runs, but also like play small ball. So I just think they're the most well-rounded team in baseball. So I'm gonna take it at 4.
Take them for, and the Dodgers and Brewers, or Brewers and Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Excuse me.
Yes, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. I'm
Who do you have in
gonna
that?
I'm gonna give this the Dodgers in 4 as well. I'm gonna give it. I think the Diamondbacks are gonna sneak a game because it's a divisional game. But again, I just think that the Diamondbacks kind of got an easier matchup round one. I don't think the Brewers were like all that good. I think they're kind of the Twins, where like they kind of like they're okay, but they're not like great. So I think they're kind of squeak out of that round one. But I think they're gonna run into obviously a brick wall of the LA Dodgers, right? Who, to Jake's point, have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, who are playing like 2 of the best players in the entire league, right? Outside of like Matt Olson and Ronald Acuna. So I think that's an issue for them. I don't think the Dodgers pitching staff is what it used to be, right? So I think that's probably their one downfall. I mean, but the Dodgers are better than the Diamondbacks. They proved it during the year, and they're going to prove it again.
All right, so for your ALCS, you have the Orioles and the Blue Jays, and your NLCS, you have the highly anticipated Braves Dodgers. So let's start with the ALCS, Orioles and Blue Jays.
Yeah, it's hard, dude. It is very hard because this is going to be another shootout, right? Oh God, and I think, oh God, it's going to be good because we're going to see a new team in the World Series this year.
Right?
I think do I do it? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna ride the Blue Jays. I'm gonna do it because I think to the Orioles' point, I think their luck's gonna run out because I think the inexperience to them outside of like Aaron Hicks, right? They don't really have any veterans that have been that far in the playoffs like ever, and I think that's gonna be the one thing that's gonna get to them. They have a manager that hasn't been there before. They got a lot of pieces that haven't been there before. Again, neither have the Blue Jays, but I think they just have a little bit more, I guess, in the tank. I guess they're going to have an easier playoff run. I think they're not going to have to go through as much. I think them steamrolling through Twins and them kind of cruising, I guess, not cruising, but like kind of getting past. I think they're gonna come in hotter. And I think again, dude, these are divisional matchups. So like, yeah, the records were like 10 games different, but like, dude, it's all about also if the Phillies starts anything from last year, if you get hot at the right time, like it's gonna carry you. And I think the Jays are just gonna. I don't know, dude. I think their offense is going to carry them. Now, watch them now just absolutely just lay an egg the next 3 games.
Jake, remember when Lily Schumacher, when we were on Randy Coure's show, said it's all about getting hot at the right time?
Yep.
She talked about the Washington Nationals in 2019, the Red Sox in 2018. Like it's kind of like Brian sentimenting that a little bit. So how many games do you have the Blue Jays winning in?
I'm going to take the Jays in 6.
Blue Jays in 6?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Braves Dodgers. We're all expecting this.
Yes.
What happens?
Sorry, Loro. It's just I'm sorry. Like it's gonna be the Atlanta Braves. And to your point, Maddie, like you said about the World Series, right? When they made it there, right? And they didn't have Ronald Acuna, and and it was still close. Like with Ronald Acuna Jr., dude, I don't think this is gonna be close. I really don't. Like I think it's gonna go down to 6. But I think like the Dodgers are going to win 2 close games and get blown out the round. Like I think the games the Braves win are going to be like not close. So I think it's going to be 6 for the Braves. I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty convincing win. Again, just the pitching staffs to me, dude, they're big 3 and Strider, Max Fried, and I think Bryce Elder's going to be their 3rd in the playoffs. I think over Charlie Morton. Mm-hmm. But dude, Bryce Elder, like, yeah, he had a bad end to the year. Still not bad, dude. Like we talk about like these teams like. When you have 3s that are like a lot of teams like can be like 2s, like that's big. And obviously, right at that point, right, you're gonna have a lot of days in between, right? Like we know how sports like to milk the divisional games, so they're probably gonna get Spencer Strider and Max Fried pitching twice in this series, which I think is gonna help them a lot. So I don't think they're gonna need to go into the depths of their 4th and 5th starters. So I think that's definitely gonna help them in this series.
All right, so you have a Blue Jays Atlanta World Series.
I do.
Who wins it? How many games? And who is World Series MVP? Actually, by the way, Jake, I can get your World Series MVP between the Astros and the Braves. Who wins? Who's MVP?
I'll say is Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker.
Ooh,
Okay.
I like it. I like
I like
it.
that pick a
I
lot.
love
All right.
Kyle Tucker. I'm a big Kyle Tucker fan.
Okay. Ryan. So Blue Jays and Braves. Who wins the World Series? How many games in your MVP?
So part of me doesn't want to do this, Matty, but again, you know how I am, bro. I'm here for the hot takes, right? And I think I honestly, if this is the World Series, it might be a snooze fest. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like if this is what it is, I'm gonna take the Braves. I'm gonna take the Braves. I'm debating in 5. I don't think it's gonna be 5. I take them in 6. But again, kind of like to the Dodgers' point, I don't think their blood games will be close. I think the Blue Jays staff at this point is not going to be able to contend with this Atlanta Braves offense. So I'm going to take them in 6, and my World Series MVP, to nobody's surprise, is going to be Mr. Ronald Acuña.
Okay. So Ronald couldn't be Braves in 6. All right. So now time for the meat and potatoes for me. Okay, here we go.
Let's see.
Texas Rangers, Tampa Bay Rays, wild card round. I have the Rays in 3 games. I think that the Rays can bounce back. I know they started really hot. They started 13-0, and it seemed like they were going to win 120 games. It seemed like they were going to break Seattle's 2001 record, but that didn't happen. They finished with 99 wins. They played sloppy today. I think they bounced back. They win the final 2 games. I know that their offense has cooled off a lot since the beginning of the season. But the Rangers are in a little bit of a tough position because they shouldn't be in this position. They blew the division title away by losing to Seattle in the final game. They really shouldn't be in this position. And sometimes when you blow an opportunity like that, you tend to collapse. And when everything's
Oh, the
going your
Mets.
way,
Sorry.
I was actually, that's funny, just going to say last, it kind of reminds me, it actually does remind me of last year when the Mets, like, you know, you thought going in September, oh, they're going to win the division, they'll get the bye, and then they collapse, and then they end up having to play a wild card round against San Diego. We're like, oh, well, we thought, oh, okay, San Diego's a wild card, you know, they underperformed a little bit considering their roster, they should still beat them. And then, you know, they'll get the Braves, and then, you know, we'll go from there. But obviously it didn't happen. So, yeah, that could possibly happen to Texas. You know, they had the division, we thought, almost unlocked. They had like a 2.5 game lead like 2 weeks ago. And then I checked my phone, and I see Houston in the division. I'm like, what the heck happened, guys?
Yeah, you thought.
They basically blew it. They blew it. So I have the Rays in 3 games. Texas's luck might run out. I can see Tampa Bay bouncing back. They're not going to commit 4 errors again. And if you do commit 4 errors again, then that just really shows that you really need to check your organization. Then we have the Twins and the Toronto Blue Jays. Everyone's high on the Blue Jays, huh?
Well, bro, you ride the Jays.
I am going to ride the Jays. I have them in 3 games. And the reason why is because I love Toronto's offense. The Minnesota Twins basically just cakewalked into the playoffs because they played such a bad division. I really don't know how Toronto is lost this game. Like their offense was basically shut down by good pitching by Minnesota. You know, props to them. But I do think that they're going to bounce back. I mean, you still haven't seen Gosman play yet. If he plays in Game 2 and the Blue Jays are going to get Game 3, I think the Blue Jays take advantage and they make it all the way. So I think they go to a 3-game series with the Blue Jays advancing to play the Astros. So I have the Orioles versus the Rays and the Astros versus the Blue Jays. So that's my American League side. Now my National League side. Phillies Marlins, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Stott. Phillies bullpen is getting better. I mean, that was their Achilles heel for a long time, but it seems like they got that stuff patched out. So that's a good thing. Miami, Luis Urias started with a 400 batting average halfway through the season, and he hasn't been himself ever since then. He's a good situational hitter, but he hasn't been a consistent hitter for a long time. So when your best guys aren't performing well, then kind of your offense is not going to play as well. So I got the Phillies in 2 games here. And then we got the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. I got the Diamondbacks losing in 2 games to the Brewers. I know the Brewers are probably losing right now, but I have the Brewers too. I know they don't have Woodruff, which hurts their rotation a little bit. But this Brewers team, they're at home. They're a good ball club. They have Craig Counsell, who's a really good manager. The Diamondbacks were lucky to sneak into the playoffs after getting beaten by Houston pretty bad in the final weekend. But I am going to say this. I think the Diamondbacks can keep it competitive, a competitive 2 games. So that means I got the Braves and Phillies like everyone else does, and I got the Dodgers and the Brewers. So we're going to move to the AL side first. I got Baltimore and Tampa Bay. You know what? I'm going to ride with the young guns. I'm going to go with the young studs of Baltimore. I'm going to take them in 4. Tampa Bay lost 8 of 13 games to Baltimore. They have the home field advantage for this series. So I am going to say Baltimore streaks out. And I know they lost Felix Bautista. They're not going to have him as their closer, which is kind of a bummer because he's been one of the more dominant closers in baseball before he got injured. That being said, Santander, Rutschman, Mullins, it all says it all. And, sometimes when you ride the hot hand, it goes. I mean, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Baltimore started off slow in the beginning, but then they gradually picked up steam as the season went on, and now they're doing really well. I said this on a different show. Baltimore could probably turn some heads. But with that being said, I have them in 4 games over Tampa. Then we got the Astros and the Blue Jays, and it pains me to do this. It pains me to do this because I'm a diehard Yankee fan. But I got the Astros and sweeping the Blue Jays. I got it.
Brother. Nah.
It pains me to say this, but postseason experience really, really helps. It really does. And the one mistake that
Ryan's not a fan of that pick.
He's not a fan of that pick, I can tell. But when you have the experience that the Astros do, they've won 2 World Series in a 6-year span. You have Altuve, you have Kyle Tucker, you have Yordan Alvarez, you have Jeremy Pena, who stepped up last year and won World Series MVP. You have a veteran manager in Dusty Baker. You have all that experience on your side, and you are the defending World Series champions. I mean, I love Toronto's offense. Don't get me wrong. I think they're going to be good for years to come. But the Astros are just too good. I think this is a sweep. So get your brooms out. It's not going to be pretty.
Here's my favorite saying, Natty. Dynasties eventually will fall. It is time. I am so done with this team. I am so done with it. Dynasties will fall. And it's coming hard for Mr. Little Midget over there.
We will see. Okay. So now for the National League side of things, I'm going to say for the Atlanta Braves Philadelphia Phillies series, I got them sweeping as well. The Braves sweeping the Phillies because Atlanta did not forget what happened last year with the Phillies beating them in 4 or 5 games. They did not forget that. That's not going to happen this time around. And by the way, Atlanta, you mentioned 14 guys have 10 home runs or more. They have 5 guys with 30 home runs or more. Ronald Acuña Jr., Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, and Ozzie Albies. Marcell Ozuna. So 5 guys with 30 more home runs. That's a murderer's row right there, folks. And I don't think the Phillies pitching is going to be able to counter that because that's just phenomenal stuff. I do like Atlanta's pitching. I like Spencer Strider. I think he set the record or was close to setting the record for most strikeouts per 9 innings, which is unbelievable. It was 13.7, 13.6, something something crazy. That's unbelievable. So I think you got him. You got Charlie Morton going on. You got Elder going on. So I think the Braves pitching could counteract what Philly can do. But they just can't beat themselves up mentally because that's what happened last year and it can't happen again. So I got the Braves sweeping. Now for the Dodgers and Brewers, I got the Dodgers in 4 here. I think Milwaukee can put up a little bit more of a fight than Philadelphia can. I know Loro is watching this, so I gotta say it here. Yes, I got the Dodgers advancing to the next round. I got the Dodgers advancing to the next round in 4 games. I mean, listen, Mookie Betts having an MVP caliber season. He's not gonna win MVP, but he's gonna come in a good 2nd or 3rd place. Plus, you have Freddie Freeman turning back the clock. You have Clayton Kershaw on a mission to win 1 more championship before he retires. I mean, the Dodgers pitching is not fantastic, but it's good enough to win this series. So I got the Dodgers in 4. So I got the Baltimore Orioles and the Houston Astros and the Dodgers versus the Braves in my conference series. For my American League series, and I know this...
Damn, bro, mix it up. You're so bored.
I can't mix it up. I gotta go with the Astros in 6. I gotta go with the Astros in 6. I mean, it's just Houston.
It's so boring.
It's basically the underdogs of Baltimore versus the experienced vets of Houston. That's really what it is. And sometimes experience will come into play in big situations like this. It's kind of like the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox from 2003, 2004. It's kind of like when when Boston tried to go for the series win in 2003, not 2004 when they collapsed, but in 2003 when Boston had that rivalry with the Yankees and it seemed so competitive and it seemed like it was going to get edgy. The Yankees with that postseason experience and Aaron Bleep and Boone, nonetheless, got the Yankees the Game 7 win in 2003 and took them to the World Series. Now, they ultimately lost that series to the Marlins in 2003, but then the next year Boston got their revenge. So that, but keeping the train on the tracks, I think Houston's got the experience to counteract the talent that Baltimore has. And then for my National League series, which is what everyone's expecting, I got the Braves in 7. This is not surprising. Braves have got a phenomenal offense. So do the Dodgers, but I do believe that in any given situation, offense can win games, but pitching as well could certainly win you championship series. And I think Braves pitching is just a little bit better. That's why I have it going 7 games. So I got the Braves and the Astros in the World Series. I'm not going to pick the Astros because I don't have it in my bracket. I have the Braves in 7 games. Atlanta's just on a tear this year. They were on a tear. They won 106 games for a reason. They're so good. They got a fun, exciting offense, really good pitching, and they've beaten Houston before, so I think it's ultimately going to come in full circle. 2 years ago, Ronald Acuna Jr. not being around, they win. 2 years later, Ronald Acuna Jr. is there, and they win again. But my World Series MVP is actually going to shock you. I have Austin Riley winning World Series MVP.
Ooh. He is phenomenal.
Someone other than
He's a
Olsen and
player.
Acuna are going to go off, and I think that Austin Riley is an underdog sleeper candidate to get that nod. So I have the Braves winning in 7 games. So, to recap, Jake has Houston, Laurel has the Dodgers, I had the Braves, and Ryan, you had, refresh my memory a little bit?
I had the Braves.
You had the Braves. So, 2 Braves, 1 Astro, 1 Dodger. That's how this works. So, Ryan and I tried to come up with a little bit of a punishment/reward for whoever wins this bracket challenge. And that's what I'm going to do here. So I said, if I win the bracket challenge, I get to compete for the right to be the
And
commissioner
lose.
of the Siriani State Sports Fantasy Football League again.
And lose. Okay. Respect.
And if Ryan wins, I have to treat him for a night out at a club in New Jersey.
Damn right. Best gift anyone can get.
So that's the end of the bargain. If Loro wins, I'm trying to think what we could do if Loro wins. He's not here, but I'm thinking.
He gets to blow to Alabama for an episode.
Yes. What?
Oh
Siriani
God.
State Sports.
God.
So
No,
Siriani
this
State
guy. No. This guy just can't. He's just literally the most Alabama fanboy I've ever seen. He's like,
Roll Tide.
boys like Tua, elite. Jalen, elite.
Oh,
Mac
God.
Jones, elite. It's like
He's
nah.
one of those. Oh Lord.
Jalen
Alright,
Milrow, Justin Fields. Like, no. Like, nah.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. If Loro wins, we'll give him control of Siriani State Sports for an entire episode.
Oh, I'm terrified. I might have to.
We'll give him full control of Siriani State Sports for an entire episode. He'll come up with the agenda and everything. All right. So now,
fam.
if Jake wins, what should Jake do if he wins?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say I bleeping told you so with the Astro. And that's the first thing I'm gonna do. But yeah, that's gonna be the entire episode, by the way.
I'm gonna punch my computer screen. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But if you guys want to come up with something else, you know.
Okay, I got an idea.
Okay.
If Jake wins, he gets to come on again, or he can come
Okay.
on whenever he feels like it. He
Okay.
gets to come on whenever he feels like it.
okay.
It's an open house, Jake. You can come on whenever you want.
All right.
You're free to come on whenever you want. You're an awesome guy. You're a great
Thank you, Matt.
sports guy.
Thank you,
You're
guys.
awesome.
Thank you.
If you win the bracket challenge, you get to come on this show, say I bleeping told you so over and over and over again about the Astros, and Ryan and I have to wear Yordan Alvarez jerseys on the show.
Oh, bro, I'm not buying you.
I'm down with that.
I'm not
Okay.
buying that. I am not buying that jersey, bro. That's just not gonna happen.
I'll buy it for you. Anyway, man. So the punishments are set in stone.
You
So Now we're gonna get into our sponsors for this show because Sirius Sports has a bunch of sponsors on this program. All right, so Sirius Sports is sponsored by the following. Is sponsored by the following sponsors. So we got Outback Steakhouse in Middletown, Aussie rules.
I love Outback.
Oh, great! It's a great place. Worked there for a long time.
The bomb.
Love the management. Next we got Valix Enterprises, building projects for success. Then we got DAS Technology Consulting, simplifying technology. Then we got Jag One Physical Therapy, official therapy provider for the teams you love. The Grace Foundation of New York, support, empower, educate, enhance. The Integrated Planning Group, client-focused, advice-driven. And by Rocco's Original Italian Ices, a sweet summertime treat all year around. And by the way, before we conclude the sponsorships and everything, Devin Jr. was born on September 20th, so Devin Rocco,
boy.
Congratulations. You're going to be raising possibly another younger Jeff fan.
Oh, of course. Oh, brother. He already has it, bro. He has a Jets onesie. Bro, he's fitted out already.
Okay.
You
so that's all the sponsors. So for those of you who want to know where you can find us, where you can find Jake, we're going to start off with where you can find Jake. So Jake, I rehashed a little bit about you. Tell people where you can find you.
All right, so I am the host of Talking Sports with Jake. That is my podcast. My YouTube channel is also called Talking Sports with Jake. My Instagram is Cardi J 3152, basically like Cardi B, but with a J, except I'm not a complete idiot like she is, and actually have a brand and actually useful. And you can also find me at Jake Cardinale 8. That's my Twitter. I have two, but that's like my more professional one.
Okay.
You know, I'm a senior, so my personal Twitter has some language in it. Don't want.
Oh no, brother, it's all good. I know. I do that all the time.
So it's basically my burner. At Jake Cardinale 8 is my Twitter. You can find me on there, and I have a couple other shows too that are on my channel.
Oh, brother, the rant tweets are the best. No shame for that.
Okay, so as far as we are concerned, you can find us on the following: Facebook at Siriani Sports, on Twitter at Siriani Sports, on Instagram at Siriani Sports, and I know we're also on YouTube at Siriani Sports as well. Now I know that Colorcast is defunct
Dead.
now.
It is dead.
It's defunct, but we used to find us on there, and we actually had a background. So Jake came from Colorcast. I found him on Colorcast, and then I got to give a shout out to Patrick Rutch and Armchair Host on the Discord because they brought the whole community together on a Discord, and I should probably try and get Ryan on there because he has some outlandish things that probably Armchair would love about the Blue Jays. But yeah, it's a great community. If you want to go join the Colorcast Discord, message me or Jake for that matter because we're both part of it, and we'll try and get you on. It's a great community and a great environment. But anyways, this is part 2 from Jake Cardinale, from Ryan Barrett Jr. I'm Matt Siriani. Thank you everyone for joining today's episode. It was a 2-parter, but we had a phenomenal time, and we'll be back next Tuesday, same time, same place, on StreamYard. And this was a very, very fun show. And in regards to the people who heard Ryan's rant about turf, God bless you.
Listen, bro, if you want more, go check out the Twitter, bro. It's worse.
Okay, so anyways, God bless you all. Have a great night, everybody. From all of us, take care, and of course, peace out.